Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading for 4th Canto, Chapter 9, text number 4. Satam vivakshantam atadvidam harir jnatvasya sarvasya cha hridi avastitaha kritanjalim brahma mayena kambuna pasparsha balam kripaya kapole. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands. Purport. Every devotee who wants to chant the transcendental qualities of the Lord, devotees are always interested in hearing about the Lord's transcendental qualities, and they are always eager to glorify these qualities. But sometimes they feel inconvenienced by humbleness. The personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, specifically gives a devotee intelligence to describe him. It is therefore understood that when a devotee writes or speaks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his words are dictated by the Lord from within. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter. To those who constantly engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord from within dictates what to do next in order to serve Him. When Dhruva Maharaj felt hesitant, not knowing how to describe the Lord for want of sufficient experience, the Lord, out of His causeless mercy, touched his conch shell to Dhruva's forehead, and he was transcendentally inspired. His transcendental inspiration is called Brahmamaya, because when one is thus inspired, the sound he produces exactly corresponds to the sound vibration of the Vedas. This is not the ordinary sound vibration of material world. Therefore, the sound vibration of Hare Krishna mantra, although present in ordinary alphabet, should not be taken as mundane or material. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. After he fell, Dhruva Maharaj fell flat before the Supreme Lord, who appeared before him and absorbed himself in feelings of love, and he wanted to express glorification of the Lord and His kindness and His greatness and His wonderful other qualities. He wanted to chant the glories of the Lord. This is a natural urge of the living entity to speak about the glories of the Lord when his consciousness gets attached to the Supreme Lord's consciousness, free from identification with this material world. It is the nature of the soul to glorify the Supreme Lord. It is the pleasure of the soul to glorify the Supreme Lord. Just like here, pleasure of senses is natural in the material world when one is clouded by Maya. The same way, the urge to glorify the Lord is very natural for the living and pure living entity in the spiritual world. Because the Lord is unlimitedly glorious. Especially glorifying the Lord's love towards His part and parcel. He is a perfect personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead, person of perfect love, perfect compassion, perfect everything. Even in this material world we see, as tiny living entities, we are always seeking perfection. We do something, we are seeking perfection. You give and take love, you want it to be perfect, etc. Knowledge, you want it to be perfect. So it is nature of the soul to always seek perfectness. And it is a fact that only the Lord is supremely perfect in everything. You want a perfect person, and that's God. That's Him. So it is the nature of the soul. The soul's quest for perfection is nothing but quest for Krishna. Just like Prabhupada says, the soul's lust in this material world is nothing but soul's deepest urge for love in a perverted manner by forgetting Krishna. The soul can get everything he wants only from Krishna to the full satisfaction. Whether it is power, whether it is knowledge, whether it is love, whether it is pleasure. We are constitutionally being part and parcel of the Lord. Our Sat food, Chit food and Ananda food for the soul comes from the Supreme Satchidananda. Just like the little nutrients that are required for keep the fingers together, it has to come from the stomach. Therefore, they take the food and put in the stomach. This is the way the entire universal system is organized. So Dhruva Maharaj, naturally, we've seen the previous verse with his bhava. He was kissing the lotus feet of the Lord, simultaneously embracing him, and everything was, he was in ecstasy. He was not in control of himself. When he saw the transcendental beauty of the Supreme Lord, it is not only beauty of the Supreme Lord, also the kindness of the Lord. Because Dhruva Maharaj was relishing the transcendental form of the Lord within his heart. And he was feasting on the transcendental effulgent form of the Lord in the heart. And suddenly the Lord vanished. And you can imagine how much pain when something very, 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 very sweet is taken away, then you feel same degree of pain. And then he opened the eyes in that pain, he saw the Lord himself. He was so relieved. And so relieved and so grateful that immediately his heart jumped out. It is previous verse said, that Dhruva Maharaj, in ecstasy, looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes, kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arms. And next was his urge to glorify. But the Lord saw that he is a small boy. He has no capacity. He is not yet educated to describe anything in a language that is suitable. So only he had that bhava, he had that transcendental feelings for the Lord. And here it said that the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, he touched Dhruva Maharaj with his conch shell. As soon as he touched him with the conch shell, Dhruva Maharaj started composing wonderful prayers in glorification of the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada says here that it is only possible to glorify the Lord. The personality of Godhead being situated, here it says. It is therefore understood that when a devotee writes or speaks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his words are dictated by the Lord from within. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. To those who constantly engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord from within dictates what to do next in order to serve Him. So Dhruva Maharaj was given that transcendental knowledge, the flow of the Lord is reservoir of Satchit Ananda. Is a reservoir of Sat, reservoir of Chit, reservoir of Ananda. So all this flowed into Dhruva Maharaj, a small boy, and he could compose beautiful prayers which will come later. We also pray that often here before Srinivas Govinda. So, but now we stopped, I think. So these are some of the, most famous prayers of Bhagavatam. Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad, Kunti Devis, all these things. Because they contain glorification of the Lord's very close relationship with His devotees. This is the reason why Srila Prabhupada, we repeatedly mentioned about that pastime, where Prabhupada was reading his own books, and when asked why, he was saying that, he said that it was Krishna was dictating and he was writing. And that's exactly what it is said here. That if somebody wants to write about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when a devotee writes or speaks about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his words are dictated by the Lord within. So, already Bhagavatam is so big, and Prabhupada multiplied it into one verse will be 2-page purport. So Bhagavatam has expanded from 18,000 verses to 12 volumes, 30 volumes Prabhupada wrote. Of course, that 10th canto also summarized in Krishna volumes. So what a treasure today we have with us, which is nothing but exactly like nothing less being touched by the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada continuously dictated in his dictaphone. If somebody has to intellectualize, in 10 years he cannot write all this. The only way to turn out this voluminous work is simply go on dictating. Not dictating, then going back, correcting, all these things. Simply it has to flow. Like Dhruva Maharaj, it happened. This is another a fact to be appreciated. That in 10 years nobody can write and correct this much. He can only write. He can only write means a straightaway dictation. It is from the Lord. Impossible for somebody to write and correct and then perfect. So this is the mercy of the Lord. And that is why it is said that we should just not change anything. It is a flow from the transcendental platform, the way Prabhupada dictated. And apart from this, Prabhupada in the purport is saying something else also. Not only in the case of writing, those who constantly engage in the loving service of the Lord will direct the devotees what to do next. Always devotees have this problem. We all have this problem. What to do next to please Krishna? Right? Whenever we have some assignment, some work is there, then we have our goal, but you do not know how to reach there. You do not know how to get the resources. This is a challenge for every work, whether karmis or us. It's a challenge. You have a desired vision, a goal. Then you realize that there is all resources are not there. Then he takes anxiety for getting the resources. There's a gap, resource gap. A karmi wants to build a house. It costs 50 lakhs. He has with him 20 lakhs. But he has a vision. What is that? Desired goal. What is that desired goal? To build the house for 50 lakhs. He has got only 10 or 15 lakhs. Immediately what does it mind do? He sets up an anxiety in his mind. What that anxiety is? Resource anxiety. Right? Only unless I have that resource, I cannot complete that job. And there is another kind of anxiety then comes. Directional anxiety. What is that? How to fill this gap? That may be only with respect to finance. There are so many other things involved in building a house. How to get a right architect, how to go to the right financing company, how to. So that is called direction anxiety. So in the material world, every living entity, for fruity work, for achieving his fruits of his labor, he is always setting up desires and setting up work anxiety and resource anxiety. Is it not? And if these things are not set up, nobody can do anything in this world. It is very important to set up. Now devotees are also working for Krishna. So they also have to set up work tension and resource tension. Work anxiety and resource anxiety. And if you don't set it up, it is not possible to achieve anything. God helps those who help themselves. So, The mechanism is the same. The way the mind works is the same. But one is taking anxiety for Krishna, other is taking anxiety for sense gratification. I had a nice quote on this. Somebody sent me this. So what the devotee has to do, what the karmi does, the same thing, same activity of first activity is you take up a work, you have to assess the current reality. That means present reality. Then in your mind you have to think of the desired reality. If you don't feed this in your mind, if you don't contemplate on it, what you want to do for the Lord, what you want to achieve for the Lord, what are given? Somebody has given you, an authority has given you an assignment. And the moment that assignment is there, that becomes your desired goal. And that desired goal should be fed into your mind. Yes, this is a desired goal. I have to achieve this. Then his next work, in other words, he has to visualize the goal. You have to feed the mind with that. It cannot be spaced out. If the desired goal is not nicely fixed up in our mind, then our process of work will not be complete. And then we have to think of what is the current, just like the man who was building the house, 50 lakhs. Then the first thing he thinks is what? How much do I have? Oh, I am not very clear. Here this thing, here that. He'll take a pen and paper and write. In this account that much, in this account that much. From this person I have to get this much, from this person. Some work is required. Right? So there is a work required to understand the current reality. And then there is a work required to engrave your vision in your mind. Visualize it clearly. That's a work. Moment these two things are set up, then immediately automatically there is resource anxiety and work anxiety and direction anxiety. Once you get the correct kind of direction and you get resource, then you can achieve the desired reality. So present reality to desired reality, how do you go? By jnana, bala and kriya. These three resources are required. Jnana, bala and kriya. And jnana is this direction. Bala is his resource. Kriya also is the resource. So present reality plus jnana, bala, kriya. Jnana means three things. Inspiration, intelligence, direction. Sometimes you will have intelligence how to do things, but you have no inspiration to do. So inspiration is required. Intelligence is required. Intelligence about the subject, overall you may have. But exactly direction, right now what to do. That's what Prabhupada here is saying. Next, what in the order to serve, what to do. That one has to depend upon the Lord. So, inspiration, intelligence and direction. All three together is called jnana. And bala. You need financial bala, sometimes physical bala, all different kinds of shakti, bala. In order to move present reality to desired reality. So jnana, bala and kriya. Kriya is skills, expertise in doing certain things. The chesta. There is an expertise in doing the chesta. So, the karmis, when they desire something and they assess the current reality, they start working towards releasing the resource tension and work tension. By working, by chesta, they try to relieve this so that the present reality comes and meets the desired reality. It is achieved. Goal is achieved. He does not bring Krishna into picture. A karmi is getting his jnana, bala and kriya purely as per his karma. So what he achieves is according to his karma. But there also, even if it is karma, it is said that unless you work, God helps those who help themselves even there also. Not that karma will automatically. Your karma is a currency that you have earned. It will not go anywhere. It will not go into somebody else's account. But yeah, if you want some money, you have to write a check and take it out. Right? You have to do your prescribed duties. That's why people say, oh, everything is karma. After your efforts, everything is karma. If you don't do efforts, your karma also will not fructify. What you are entitled also, you cannot encash. You cannot encash your punya and papa. Of course, certain things in life are destined. The milestones are set of sukha and dukkha. So somehow you will be pushed to that. Just like Krishna told Arjuna, even if you don't want to fight, you will fight in the end. You want to listen to me and fight, or you want to fight pushed by the three modes? So, karmis take anxiety. Devotees also take anxiety. So, in that sense, the devotee is always working. When you look at a devotee, he is working just like a karmi, but for Krishna. And then he also takes anxiety, he takes stress. One place Prabhupada is writing, I know where it was. One of the ecstasies is blood pressure. In his purport, I just recently read. One of the symptoms of ecstasy is also blood pressure. So, there is a quote on where Prabhupada talks about taking anxiety. It is very important. We are not peacevadis. So these demons who are very much eager to accumulate money by black market, they are chintam apparimeyam, immeasurable anxiety. Anything you do in the material world, there will be chinta or anxiety. Just like in this Krishna consciousness movement, all the activity, they are not material, they are spiritual. But still, because it is being enacted in the material world, we also have so much anxiety because we are in the material world. And although that anxiety is also bhakti, that is nothing else. That is not material. When we are anxious how to protect a property, how to push on the movement, how people will take it, what line of action we should take, this is also anxiety. But that anxiety is for Krishna. Therefore it is bhakti. Anxiety. Even in Vrindavan there is anxiety. Radharani is in anxiety that Krishna is not here, how Krishna will come. Gopis are in anxiety. Gopis are in anxiety that about them it is said that when Krishna used to go to the forest for tending the cows, so gopis were thinking at home Krishna's feet is so soft that we hesitate to take his feet on our breast. But he is now walking on the forest, in the forest, and there are so many stones and pricks, and they are giving pain to Krishna's lotus feet. And thinking like this, they fainted. This is Gopi. Krishna is out of village, and they are at home, and they are thinking of Krishna, and they fainted. This is also anxiety. So much anxiety, they fainted. But that is for Krishna. Therefore, gopis are exalted. Ramya kechit upasana vrajavadu varga virya kalpita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he recommends, there is no better type of worshipping Krishna than it was planned by the gopis. So there is also anxiety. So anxiety is spiritual anxiety and material anxiety. Spiritual anxiety means you are advancing in spiritual life. And material anxiety means you are going downhill. So chintam appariye meyam cha. But we are speaking of the demons, materialistic persons. Demons means materialistic persons who are simply busy for bodily temporary comforts. They do not know anything else. The body is material. Therefore, all these activities for the comforts of the body. This is demon, more or less. Chinta, the demons, they are in anxiety. Everyone has anxiety, but their anxiety, apparimeyam, just like ordinary man, he has got some anxiety. How to maintain my family, how to get my money to maintain my family, like that. But demons, they are unmeasurable, unlimited. You will find big businessmen. They have got very long project. How to do this, how to increase this factory, how to make it world renowned, and so on. There is no limit to anxiety. Chintam apparimeyam cha. Unlimited means they have no idea of future life. They do not believe mostly at the present moment. Formerly they used to believe. Kamsa was a great asura, but still he was thinking of future life. When he was informed about his sister's son, 8th son, will kill him, so he was trying to kill his sister. Because sister is the source of nephew coming, so better finish the sister. So this is anxiety. There was another quote, I can't get that. What I read was something, we should take anxiety. So, yes. How do we render perfect service to Krishna? Prabhupada, by your anxiety. Laughter, Haribol. If you are anxious to serve Krishna, that is real asset. So our program is not Om Shanti Shanti program. Krishna is unlimited. What service we can offer to him? And he has got unlimited servants also. What service he requires from you and me? He is perfect in himself. He doesn't require any service also. But if you are anxious to serve him, then he does not refuse. That is his mercy. That is his magnanimity. So the more you increase your anxiety to serve Krishna, the more he becomes perfect. He is unlimited. Your anxiety, you become unlimited. So there is competition. The more you serve Krishna, the more he accepts you, and the more he gives you intelligence. You see? So the spiritual world is unlimited. There is no end of service. And there is no end of accepting the service. It's not that. So eagerness, tatra laulyam eka mulyam. I am not manufacturing the answer, but I am giving you evidence from Rupa Goswami, our Acharya. He says, Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita matihi kriyatam yedi kuto api labhyate. My dear gentlemen, my dear boys and girls, if you can purchase your sense of loving Krishna, how I can love Krishna more and more, this much, this anxiety, if you can purchase this matihi, means intelligence, it is very nice intelligence, how I shall serve Krishna. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavita matihi. Matihi means intelligence or status of the mind that I will serve Krishna. If you can purchase this status of mind anywhere, please immediately purchase. Then the next question will be, all right, I shall purchase. What is the price? Do you know? Yes, I know what is the price. What is that price? Laulyam, simply your eagerness. That is all. Laulyam ekam mulyam. That I can have. No, na janma kotibis sukritibis labhyate. This eagerness, how to love Krishna, this is not available even after many, many births. So if you have a pinch of that anxiety, how I can serve Krishna, you must know you are the most fortunate. A pinch only, laulya, this anxiety, how I can serve Krishna, it is very nice, then Krishna will give you intelligence. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam buddhi yogam dadamitam. Same thing in this purport also Prabhupada says. This is confirmed in the 10th Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter. To those who constantly engage in transcendental loving service of the Lord from within dictates what to do in order to serve Him. That means jnana, bala, kriya. Dictates means inspiration, intelligence, direction. Anyone who is engaged with love and affection in my service without hypocrisy, then Krishna can understand everything. He is within me, within you. Then he will give you intelligence. My dear boy, you do like this. And by doing that, you will achieve. Yena maam upayantite. You will come back to me. What profit he will get by going there? Yad gatva nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. Mam hi partha vipashritya ye api syu papayonah. Dukhalem ashashvatam. These are so many. There are so many. Please read Bhagavad Gita as it is. You will get perfect knowledge. The science of God. That is only study for human being. So simply your eagerness is a perfection for serving Krishna. Increase your eagerness. And eagerness means if you love Krishna, that eagerness will increase with your increase of love. How I shall serve Krishna. Because you are voluntary servant, nobody is forcing. That means unless you love Krishna, how that eagerness will come? So there are so many things to love Krishna. Beginning is Shravanam, Kirtanam. Shravanam, hearing, chanting, hearing. You are hearing Hare Krishna. You are hearing Bhagavad Gita. You are hearing Bhagavatam about Krishna and chanting. That is beginning. Then naturally Shravanam Vishnu, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Mandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These 9 kinds of different varieties of service to Krishna will enlighten you, will advance you in Krishna consciousness, and your life will be successful. Srila Prabhupada ki. So coming back to that work tension and direction tension and resource tension and full dependence upon Krishna. Then our mind is fully occupied. It cannot go into Maya. Those who don't take tension for serving the Lord, Maya, it will go to Maya. Go into Maya. The mind gets locked up in service of the Lord, in anxiety for the service of the Lord. And then it is wonderful to see how the Lord, as we just read all, the Lord starts reciprocating. You start achieving things which is beyond your comprehension for the Lord. When you take the anxiety for the Lord, He protects the devotees. He helps the devotees. And this makes the devotee make advancement in Krishna consciousness. This is real practical living with Krishna. And that is Krishna consciousness. You chant, you depend on the holy name for releasing this work tension and resource tension. But you have to take that tension. Take that anxiety. And that makes one advance in Krishna consciousness, ultimately. Because in one sense, what is it? We are all conditioned in this material world. For millions of years. What are we conditioned? We are conditioned to fruitive activities. Set up a desire, current reality, chase it with chesta. And then enjoy the fruits. What we do, we also set up anxiety for the pleasure of the Lord, for the pleasure of Guru. I take anxiety. So our fruitive mentality completely gets purified by practical service. This is very important. By practical service, see, there are the biggest, what is the contamination in the chittam, in our consciousness? fruitive mentality, sense gratification, and social gratification. Social gratification is subtle sense gratification. So these are the contaminations. So completely by working for Krishna, trying to do without any commission, being absorbed for work, for Krishna's work, preaching work, Prabhupada's work, preaching the mission of the holy name, all three are purified. That is why Prabhupada simply engaged everybody in Krishna's service. Do sadhana, engage in Krishna's service. Engage in Krishna's service. Whatever talent you have, whatever ability you have, do it. And then you get purified. And that's a very... Take up any work for Krishna, follow this discipline, set up these two kinds of tensions, and then depend on the Lord and put your chesta, you will see how direction will come, how. And when it comes, you will be in ecstasy. You will be shown the path, what to do, how to do. So what Prabhupada is writing is not something impractical. Everything, it is not only for pure devotees. He is writing for anybody and everybody. It is a tattva. We are all engaging in Prabhupada's mission, Prabhupada's service. So Krishna will give direction. Krishna is giving. You are not recognizing, that's a different matter. In devotion service, anything you do for the preaching mission, it is Krishna only who is giving the Prabhupada and Krishna who is giving the direction. The Lord is in our heart and Prabhupada is the external manifestation. And it's a very mystic. So therefore, devotees, when they engage in devotion service, they work like mystics. Devotees are mystics. Mystic means what? They don't have the rational calculation of everything, how things happen. The intervention of the Lord cannot be predicted. Intervention of the Lord can be observed, but cannot be predicted by any material calculations. How I could do this? You cannot calculate. Any questions? Mike.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In the purport it is mentioned, this transcendental inspiration is called Brahmamaya. Because when one is thus inspired, the sound he produces exactly corresponds to the sound vibration of the Vedas. So the word Brahmamaya, is it something similar to or an elevation of the Panchakoshas, that Anandamaya, Pranamaya, Gnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, and above that, or?
Brahmamaya means fully spiritual. Maya means full of. Brahmamaya, fully spiritual. So that inspiration is fully spiritual, not coming from karma, not coming from any material processes. That is what I said. Jnana includes inspiration, intelligence, direction. This is in one of my cue cards also. Inspiration, intelligence, direction. How to do? The Seva Apeksha Mala, this 15th Mala, Seva Apeksha Mala, will remind you about this, setting up this two kinds of tension, depending upon the Lord, holy name, and then expressing our gratitude to the Lord. So in this way, we feel that this all happening from the transcendental platform. No material calculation. My abilities, my smartness. Okay, you have offered yours, whatever you want. But you cannot say that is equal to the total jnana, bala and kriya that came into this scene to complete the task. It's not. Devotee never thinks that it is my karmic jnana, bala and kriya that has achieved the target, achieved the goal. And he takes bliss. He takes ananda. Whenever some work is done, he takes ananda. Ananda is not in his success. Ananda in evoking the mercy of the Lord. How this happened, how that happened, unbelievable, how it happened. So Krishna is involved in Krishna is reciprocating directly, practically. Any question?
Bro, one more thing. The same word Brahmamaya comes in the explanation to the Atmarama verse by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As there are 6 types of Atmaramas. One is Brahmamaya, one absorbed in the thought of impersonal Brahman.
One?
Brahmamaya is one who is absorbed in the thought of the impersonal Brahman.
Absorbed in the?
In the impersonal Brahman, thought of impersonal Brahman.
No, that may be in different uses will be there. Brahmamaya, Chinmaya, Brahmamaya. They're not always one meaning. Not always one meaning. You can take it as impersonal is also spiritual, no? Brahmamaya. So that inspiration is coming from the spiritual plane. Brahmamaya. A devotee is always working by inspiration which is Brahmamaya inspiration, spiritual inspiration. What is to be done, what is not to be done in service of the Lord. And not out of false ego. All false ego also prompts. False ego means self-centered, is a self-centered desire, is a foundation of false ego. So out of false ego, that is not Brahmamaya inspiration. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, is, in Prabhupada's quote which you read, Prabhupada is saying about laulyam, eagerness to serve Krishna. And like you just shared now, Prabhu, the inspiration should come from the Brahmamaya, from the spiritual platform. But in the beginning stage of Krishna consciousness, the laulyam, which is very rare to get, is also not there. So by default, the motivation is false ego. And he takes anxiety for working through that with false ego. So is that a material anxiety or will it still remain, is it a spiritual anxiety?
Your material anxiety gets purified, provided it is for Krishna. If you don't take material anxiety, then you don't get purified. At least you take material anxiety, you get purified. Because the result is for Krishna. Your mind is completely absorbed. And then a stage will come when your anxiety is now material anxiety is purified. But then as Prabhupada explains, this anxiety business doesn't stop even with Radharani. But that is at another plane, that anxiety. But soul has to have eagerness to see the Lord or serve the Lord or anything. If you want to see the Lord, you need to have anxiety. You want to hear the Shuddha Nama, you have to have anxiety. You want to serve the Lord some practical service, you have to have anxiety. So anxiety is a must. When you have anxiety, our mind is locked up for Krishna's pleasure. How to chant better and better? Take anxiety. Anything, you take anxiety. And then Krishna will reciprocate. He will show the path. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayantite. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.